Welcome back, funky people, to another album review. Today we're looking at the Tedashii album, Blacklight. In case you didn't know, Blacklight is the follow-up to Tedashii's disastrous 2009 album, Identity Crisis, which I reviewed on the channel like 2 weeks ago. I'll link that review down in the description. You can check that out. But I don't like that album. That album had a lot of features, and this album has a lot of the same featured artists, specifically Reach Records people like Sho Baraka and Trip Lee and Lecrae. But this time, almost every single track has a feature. There are 16 full-length songs in this album, no interludes or anything like that, unlike the previous album, which oftentimes had interludes mixed in with the songs. But this thing is just 16 Christian rap tracks, and only 4 of the songs are solo tracks that do not feature other artists. Those 4 tracks that are just Tedashii are Riot, Rockabye Baby, Can't Get With You, and Burn This House Down. Everything else, every other song in the album has 1 or more featured artists, which creates this dynamic that Tedashii is kind of not an artist that's supposed to be operating by himself. He's an artist that really benefits from other people contributing to his hooks, contributing verses, adding more flavor to the pot. And so instead of just one signature, heavy set rap voice, you have a lot of other people doing their thing. Ironically, I made that statement, but these 4 Tedashii solo tracks are actually some of the better tracks on the album. Riot is really kind of a kick-butt opener, if you can excuse the turn of phrase. I mean, it's just him kind of going off. It is goofy, it is cheesy. This is a Christian rap album released in 2011, so be prepared for lots of cheese. But this is kind of the best case scenario for what it is, and legitimately extremely fun song, specifically with that production. Rockabye Baby is also a very solid track. I'm not crazy about Can't Get With You, but Burn This House Down has some pretty great production and a good performance by Tedashii, and so he actually can hold his own, even though looking at the track list, you may think that he is really relying on these other artists. And I would say that a lot of these other artists do bring stuff to the table. Just as an example of the guest artists really coming through and adding a lot to the tracks, the slower, more intimate That Will Be the Day features someone named Jenny Norlin, I think. It's an artist I've never heard of, a female singer, and she adds a lot to it with her beautiful voice. And then This Is the Life features Sho Baraka and L2. Solid hook by L2. I assume that's the guy doing the hook. And a very, very good verse by Sho. Always been one of the most mature names in Christian rap. And just a very intelligent, wise guy. And I feel like he really is bringing that mature energy into this track. That is, once again, a track that feels more contemplative, a little bit slower, a little bit more emotional than something like Riot or Dum Dum, which are just totally goofy. Speaking of Dum Dum, it's a fun track. Like I said, from a 2011 Christian album, you really can't complain when you get a song like this out of this era, because it is very fun. It's a song that you can imagine a youth group having their own dance to do, and I'm guessing it does have a dance that goes with it. Just a very fun time. Not very intelligent, not very deep. It's just fun. Unfortunately, 2011 has come to claim some of these tracks in their absolute corniness. Reverse sounds awful. I mean, Reverse with Andy Mineo. And Andy Mineo, I love Andy Mineo. I think he's honestly the most talented artist and the best. I mean, he's put out the best work of anyone on Reach Records, honestly. But he is so bad on this song. It took him a long time to really come into himself and kind of not just be an absolute cornball, and he's just a cornball on this song. And then the last track, Bravo, once again, it's just overly sincere, overproduced, or words that can go into this album. It is very kind of just trying too hard in a lot of ways, which is why it's sometimes better when it is just leaning into the fun, goofy side of Christian rap. But yeah, a lot of this album does sound kind of corny and hasn't aged great. But in general, I would say the production is pretty solid throughout the album, especially if you compare this album to Identity Crisis, which just sounds horrible in comparison to this album. I could keep talking about the individual tracks, but I don't really want to. I mean, the corniness just kind of prevails throughout the album with a couple highlights, highlights in the production, highlights in the performances, and just in general, the album is just a massive improvement over Identity Crisis. It's still, I'm going to have to let my subjective personal opinion get in the way of giving this a higher score because it's just personally something that I don't find very enjoyable. I don't have a lot of reasons to recommend this. I just can't ever really see myself listening to this, and I can't really see myself recommending it, so I'm going to give it a 2.5 star rating out of 5. I don't feel too bad giving this album a negative score. I mean, I don't think this album has like a fan base. Like, Dum Dum is the most popular Tedashii track, and, you know, I'm not upset about that. Like, it's a fun song. It's kind of like Chainsaw being, like, the most popular, like, Family Force 5 song. Like, I can't be too upset even though it's a dumb song. Like, Dum Dum is obviously a dumb song, but it's fine. Like, it's fun. It's enjoyable. I'm not going to be too upset if I hear it like a party. I don't know. I'd be at a weird party if they played this song. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Tell me your thoughts on this album, on your thoughts on Tedashii. Do you have any, you like any of the songs from this album? Let me know, and have a great rest of your day.